So God created woman to be with Adam and to be with man. And I know someone was talking to me on yesterday. They had mentioned that, how some people saying that he created Adam and Steve. Have y'all heard that? Yeah. Adam and Steve. And how many know it's in the Word? I think it's in Corinthians that he created, that he did not make man for woman, but he made what? Woman for man. So it didn't say he made woman for woman. And it didn't say he made man for what? Man. He made woman for man. So we're going to look back. And that's how God intended it to be. But it started getting all mixed up because of why? Sin. Because of sin. So now people think God made man for man. And people think God made woman for woman. And that's not so. So let's go on to our lesson. Talking about a suitable helper. And I'm going to backtrack. We're going to keep backtracking since our lesson is just a continuation. Let's go back to last week's. You'll have to go back far. I know we talked about the history. We talked about the history of Genesis, of what God created. And I know we talked about how God formed, I think we covered the 7th verse, how God formed man out of dust. That's Genesis 2 and 7. And how he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul. And so and that was bringing us on up to the Garden of Eden. Did we get to verse 8? Now, we're not going to do all this so we can get on our lesson. Did we get to verse 8 last time? I don't think we did we? Anybody remember? Yeah, I think we stopped at verse 7. Don't remember? Oh, okay. So, look at verse 8, and we're not going to go over all this. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. So we know that God put Adam in, he placed them in the Garden of Eden. And look at verse 9. I think I asked y'all about the rivers. That's where we stopped, I think, because I had asked y'all, nobody had that. Did anybody bring their stuff on the river? Or we couldn't find it? Did anybody? Nobody brought it on the river? And out of the ground, this is verse 9, and out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. So God had formed every ground, every tree, is that right? That was good for food, is that right? So they didn't have to worry about anything. So now it says the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of what? Knowledge of good and evil. So among all we thank God for our pastor, the greatest pastor this side of heaven. We love you, Gabby. We miss you. Go play the drums this morning. But all right, dude. Did you? All right, so they had every tree, they had everything that was good for food. But this is going over the history that everything that was being created, and the tree of life also there, along with the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And then we went on, we just kind of recapping on last week's. Did you find anything deep? Then we went on about the rivers. Verse 10. Well, I was just going to ask if anybody remembers anything concerning the rivers. And a river went out of Eden to, and y'all remember what that river was when it says, and a river went out of Eden to water the garden. Who remembers what that river was?
The Heiskin. Wasn't it the Heiskin or the?
No, that names the 4 rivers. When it says, and a river went out of the Eden to water the garden. Say it, Johanna. Say it loud. Well, you got a microphone over there? She's going to tell you the mic. The Nile. Y'all don't remember that? Who? I remember there was a verse somewhere. There was a chapter. I think was that in Genesis, Pastor? I don't remember. But I know you took us to where it called the river the Nile. Yeah, I remember where. Is Genesis?
No, it should be Egypt. That's where.
I mean, there was a scripture though that showed where it was calling that river the Nile, but I couldn't remember where that. She'll find it for us. We thank God for our pastor. She come right in, and I had to start asking her questions. Thank God for her. But I remember that it was called the Nile, and she took us to somewhere. I can't remember if it's Genesis or Exodus, to where it was referred to as the Nile. So anyway, Deke, so you see that, Deke? So that river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and become the four heads. Now the four heads is where y'all began to name those other rivers. So like I said, we just kind of going back a little bit, leading up to this lesson. Deke, did you want to tell us if you found your rivers or not? So we see that there was the Pison River, and we had all this in Bible study. The Gihon, and the Haddakal, and the Haddakal River was also referred to the what? Tigris in this study. And then I'm leaving that one. What's the other one? Say it again. Right, Euphrates. Thank you, Dee. Those were those four rivers. So like I said, we're just kind of going, and we didn't get to go into this last time. We just kind of go over because this is once again talking about everything that has been created in the Garden of Eden. You let me know when you find that one, Pastor. But anyways, so is everybody with us so far? We're at Genesis 2. We're just kind of going back over last week's because we didn't get to finish. So he's telling you all these rivers that parted from the one river. From verse 10, we know the Nile is the one that watered the garden, and then from thence it parted and became into four heads, and those four heads were the rivers that we just began to name. And so now we're going to go into our, does anybody have any questions? No questions? Okay. So now we're going to go on into our lesson, and let's do, I think we need to put all three of these together. Genesis 15, 16. Yeah, let's just do all three. Genesis 15 through 17. But I think they all kind of go together. Uh-oh, you ready to find out? Okay.
And the Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat. But of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in that day thou shalt eat, that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. Well, God had planted or created the Garden of Eden just as he had created Adam. And he placed Adam to the garden to cultivate it, to keep it, to take care for it. And God had given him permission to freely eat from every tree, except from the tree of knowledge, which would bring forth the sense of right and wrong. First, his eyes would be open to do good or to do bad. And to die means that he had a separation from God.
That's good, Father. So let's go back and look at verse 15. And the Lord God took the man, Adam, we know it's Adam, and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And when I was looking at that, I look at how God sometimes, he puts us in different places. How many of them? At a certain time. And once God puts you there, how many know it's going to be, if God puts you there, it's going to be all right. Don't try to take yourself out of where God doesn't put you. Is that okay? Because he got you there for what? For a reason. So we look at him, and that just came across my mind when I was reading that. And God put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. We know Adam did not have to do any hard labor. Whatever it takes to keep up a little bit. It's probably not even the same now as how Nancy and them take care of their garden. I bet that's a lot of work now, right, Nancy? And Minister Dual? But I guarantee you Adam didn't have to do all that till when sin took place. Now we all have to work and slave and break out a sweat. Oh, my back hurts, my feet hurts, got to stand on our feet for 10 hours and got to go and do factory work you don't want to go. But Adam didn't have to, he just had to do the necessary things just to take care of the garden that God had given him. Is that all right?
Come on.
To dress it and to keep it. And look at verse 16. And the Lord God commanded the man, he commanded Adam, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, semicolon. So he ain't done yet giving that command. But how many of you know when God gives a command, he expects you to do exactly what that command says? Because if you don't, there's going to be some consequences, regardless of whatever the command was, if you didn't obey it. When I was reading that, my mind went to, and how many know a command, even when God says, you know, we know the Exodus, the 20th chapter hadn't even been wrote yet, the 10 Commandments hadn't even been wrote yet, but still yet when God gives a command, it's to obey it. Is that right? It's something that you obey. And to look at this, my mind went back to the sins of Achan. How many remember that? Achan, God commanded them not to take any of the accursed things. Is that right? He commanded that. So they were to what? Be obedient to his command. He says if you take of the accursed thing, what's going to happen? You're going to be, where it says that you're going to be, if you keep it, he told them don't even keep it. If you keep it or take anything, you're going to what? Be accursed. Is that right? So, what happened? They didn't listen to the command. That's right. How many of y'all know the Old Testament is for our what? It's for our learning. We should use this for an example how we don't. People say, well, we got grace and mercy now. How many know that don't matter? Because you don't know how much grace and mercy you got. So, he told them, said what? Yeah. So he told them not, he said, don't keep it, don't take any of the accursed things. And he told them specifically what to do with like the silver, the gold, the vessels. I think that was to go into a treasury or something like that. And he told them what to do with that, but everything else he said, don't even keep it, don't take it, or you're going to be accursed. So they, as our deacon said, they took it that talking about Achan, he took of it. And so what happened was, they went on to, I believe it's a place called Ai, a battle that they should have won. And, you know, they went to go look and said, well, they just got a few people, you know, and they told them that, you know, just take a few. I think this is in Judges or Joshua? I can't remember where this story is. One of them. But anyway, they said, just go take so many men, because, you know, that battle, we're going to win it. And so, well, they went to go fight, and guess what? They got defeated. When they should have what? Won. But they took about a curse that they didn't listen to God's what? Command. They were disobedient. So they couldn't figure out, well, you know, what happened? Why we lost this battle? And God had to tell them, you got somebody that took the accursed thing, so now y'all cursed. Get rid of it. So what did they have to do? Anybody remember that story? I think I'm telling it right, hopefully. But y'all can go back and read it. The sins of Achan. I want to think it's in Joshua or Judges or somewhere. Somebody find where that story is for me. But anyways, so they had to take Achan. I think they divided the tribe. I think that's when they gave them all a bud? Who remembers that? I mean a rod? Or no? Well, I might be mixing up a story. Is that when they divided the tribe and God called out their names, I think? Is that right, Pastor? That's been a long time. Yeah. He called out the tribes, and that's how he found out that it was Achan. No, wait a minute. I might be mixing that with Aaron's when his rod with it. Okay, scratch that part. But anyways, yeah. So anyway, they found out that it was Achan, and what he had done, he took some things and he hid it, he burned it in the bottom of his tent. How many of y'all remember that? So scratch that out about the other part I said about the dividing, but y'all can go back and read it. But anyways, so that's how they found out, okay, it's Achan. So in order for them to win that battle with Ai, they had to get rid of Achan. But not only did they get rid of Achan, that's right, they had to get rid of what? His whole family. Because now there was rid of all. So they had to bring the whole family, his kids. They had to suffer because of the sin of their father, what they did. So he got rid of the family, and they had to bring all those things that they had kept, that they had stole. And he even admitted, he said, yeah, I stole ever how many shekels, the robes, and all that. He admitted to everything that he had stole, so they had to get rid of all that. So what they did first is they stoned them. And after they stoned them, they did what? They burned them. They set them on fire. They had to get rid of all of that because that was the sin that was causing them to be what? Cursed. They couldn't win the battle because of that. And we look at our lives now when God tells us not to do something and we do it, and now we wonder why all this is coming on us. Is that right? It's because of our disobedience, because we didn't listen to God. All we have to do is make the right choice or be obedient to whatever command He told us to do or told us not to do. How many of y'all know it's for your own good? You might not like it, but it's for your own good. We just got to learn to okay, we know what happened to them in here. I know what happened to the history. That's why it's important. The Old Testament matters. How many of y'all know that? It matters. Because this is to help us grow, to help us learn, to help us to live right and not have to go through things that we got no business going through. But we bring it on our what? We bring it on ourselves. But so that's what happened. They had to get rid of all that stuff just so they could win the battle. Did I see a hand there? Oh, go ahead.
The sin of Achan is in Joshua chapter 7.
Okay, y'all put that down. It's a good story. It's real. Y'all can go back and read it. And go ahead and make sure I said everything right when you go back and read it. Okay, well, praise God. Yeah, so that was Aaron's rod when they divided the tribes, and they said whoever's rod buds something. I think, I think where I'll be reading, then you go and read something else, and you just kind of combine them. So thank you, Kathy. Y'all got that?
No.
So, they didn't get set one more time.
Joshua chapter 7.
Joshua chapter, read the whole thing. Just keep reading. And does it go into another chapter too, or does it just continue? I tell you what, read also, or you can, so you can see where he tells them not to take. What chapter is that in? That might be Joshua 6. Let me see. I want y'all to go back and read the whole thing. Let me get there. Joshua 7.
It's Joshua 6.
Okay, now read Joshua 6 first, because that would tell you where he commanded them, gave them those instructions. And how many know this was concerning after the wildfire? You know, that's another thing. God commanded them, told them how to go about taking the city of Jericho. He gave them special instructions. He told them what to do, how many times to go around it, and in what order, and who goes first, who goes second, who goes last, what to do on that day. He told them to walk around one time for 6 days, and then on that seventh day, I believe they were to walk around it 7 times, and he told them when to shout, when to blow the trumpet. He gives those specifics for what? For a reason. If he didn't care, he would have told them, just walk around as many times as y'all want to. It don't matter. Just walk around one time. If you want to toot the horn, it don't matter. If you want to shout on the third walk, shout on the third walk. But how many know it matters to God? When He gives you an order, you ought to keep that order, because He's telling you for a reason. That's the way He wants it. You may not understand it, but that's okay. But God knows all. We don't know. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. His ways is higher than our ways. So we've got to learn to do it. It don't matter. If God said it, just do it and believe it. He knows what He's doing. And believe everything's going to be able to work out all right for our good. Somebody give this sister a mic.
That is true. We got to be mindful that when God speaks into our life, we need to pay attention.
That's right.
A lot of times, he'll speak something, and it's so hard for us. We try to envision that which he gives us when he speaks it, and we try to shape it, and we give a blurred vision. But they were very specific. He said, do this, do this, do this, do this, do that. And then they did not. And when they did what it did the walls fade.
That's right.
So if we pay attention, we have a hard time paying attention because we like to be in control. And Psalms 32 and 8, I was just studying on it today, but it says, I will instruct and teach you the way to go. With thine eye guide you. You know, a lot of times we don't like to listen to God, so I don't care how much we praise Him. We need to listen so that He can be taught.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? There's so many people running around here teaching y'all, and they teaching wrong because they're not listening in the Spirit, from the Spirit, in order to give through the Spirit. There's a reason we have the indwelling of the Spirit in us. Hallelujah, God. Amen.
I was probably got a head praise. And she's so right. We got that nature. Our nature is we always want to be right. Is that right? We want to do our own thing. We think what we know is the best. But how many know is God's way is the best? So like she said, we need to learn to listen, and we do. We thank God for the Holy Ghost because He is a guide, a leader, and what? A teacher. Like she said, He teaches us all things. Is that all right? So that anybody else want to add to this? So talking about command, being obedient, not getting ourselves, and I can talk about this because I've done it myself, not being hard-headed, not listening to God, and then I'm crying, oh me, oh mine, and it's nobody's fault but myself. I can't blame nobody else, and I certainly can't blame God. But that's the first thing we want to do is blame God. He doesn't try to tell you how to get out of a situation, you don't listen. He done gave you instructions, you don't listen. And then you crying, oh me, oh my, and trying to blame God. Well, God, why did you get me out of this situation? I told you what to do to get out of that situation. You wouldn't listen. How many of y'all been? I know because I've been there. I can say that. I've been there. But it's important to listen to God and to obey His word and obey. And no matter who God speaks through. How many of y'all know that if God speaks through pastor, God speaks through our deacons, if God speaks through Minister Ty or our teachers, learn to listen and receive that what God is what God is speaking. And don't be, and I pray now, Lord, don't keep pride out of my life. I don't want to be prideful to where I can't learn from somebody else or where I can't be taught or where I don't want to listen when I'm wrong. Is that all right? If I'm wrong, Lord, help me to say, okay, I'm sorry. I was wrong. And not try to lie because I was wrong. I've been there and done it. I was wrong. I tell a little lie. But no, come on. How many know the truth sets you what? Free. And if you set free, you free what? Indeed. So just go ahead and accept and acknowledge I'm wrong, or it was me, or I didn't listen, I wasn't obedient. God, I'm sorry. But just to learn. So anybody else want to add to this before we move on? Pastor, you jump in anytime you got something. Okay. Praise God. Doing good. So now, looking at verse 16, as our sister Fauna read, the garden thou mayest freely eat. And now verse 17 says, but of the tree of what? Knowledge. That's right. Of what? Good and evil. Thou shalt what? Thou shalt eat it. Thou shalt eat it. I said, if y'all listen, thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt what? Thou shalt surely die. So like I said, God had gave them every tree. I don't know, it didn't say how many trees, but He said, there was every of the tree. I'm sorry. Look at verse 16. He said, at the end of every tree of the garden, thou mayest freely eat. So I don't know how many every trees there was he was talking about, but I'm sure it was plenty. I know it was more than enough. Is that all right? Because when God gives you something, it's what? More than enough. So He says that don't eat of the tree of good, of the knowledge of good and evil. Thou shalt not eat of it. But how many know God already knew what they were going to do? Just like when He tells us something, He says, okay, Tanya, don't do this. He already knows whether I'm going to do it or not.
That's right.
But at least he gives us a chance. Is that all right? He gives us a chance to see, okay, let me see what you're going to do. You say you love me. If you love me, you're going to keep my commandments. You're going to be obedient. Is that right? So he tells us something, and he already knows our thoughts, and he knows our actions. And he knows what's going to come out our mouth. Is that all right? Before we even know what's going to come out our mouth. Sometimes we let just slip out, stuff comes out. God already knows what you was going to say before you even what?
Come on.
Say it. Go ahead.
Yes, you better.
As you said, God knew what they was going to do, because if they didn't do it, we wouldn't be here today.
That's right, Nigel. So he already knew. And as our sister Fauna brought out, there at the latter part, for in the day that thou eatest, thereof thou shalt surely die. Now we know that didn't mean that they were going to die right when they ate of that tree, a physical death. But it was going to be a what? That's right. A separation from who? From God. Now, how many know things in this day, when we become disobedient, the more we become disobedient, that's what? Separating us from who? From God. Because God is here. The things of God is here. But we start doing other things, and we start going further what? Away from God. But we got to be like Paul. I let nothing separate me from the love of God. Yeah. Not death, nor height, nor principality, not my family, not sister, not brother, not mama, not daddy, not husband, not wife. I won't let nothing separate me, because how many know that the devil can use those things that's closest to us to what? To try to separate us. And sometimes we don't see it that way, but it could be the closest things that try to separate us. When we begin to start what? How many know, I was married, and it seemed like the biggest fights me and my husband would have would be on a Sunday morning. Always. We could be fine throughout the week, but here comes Sunday morning, ready to get your shouting shoes on and praise God, and then here comes the biggest fight out of what? Nowhere. But I let nothing separate me from the love of God. I kept going down that highway to church when I used to go to church in Greenville. Even though we had the biggest argument ever, and it just went south, and he stayed home, but guess what? I let nothing separate me from what? From God. I continue to go on. I continue to praise Him. I continue to put Him first in my life. I continue to walk in His Word. I didn't let that separate me, even though it went on, and it would escalate and escalate. But my mind was made up. That's why you got to be persuaded. That's what Paul says, be persuaded. And like Joshua, as for me and my house, choose ye this day who you're going to serve. If you make the right choice and you stay persuaded, then nothing's going to move you. We've got to be steadfast and immovable, always abounding in the what? Working of the Lord. Always. But not letting anything separate you. So that's what happened here when he said, we're going to get into that separation. Our lesson, like I said, it goes on and on in Genesis. We'll be talking about what happens later on. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody good? All right. So now, we did 15 through 17. Now, who wants to take, I want to do 18 and then we'll do 19 and 20 together. Who wants to do 18? Okay. Oh, no, what you going to do? Go ahead.
And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him and helpmate for him. So, after God did all this creation and all this making of the trees and all this stuff, He said it was good, but it wasn't complete. How many times God can start to do something in your life, but when He begins to do something in your life, He's not going to have to do it. He's going to always go back and complete what He starts to do in your life. And a lot of times we start to do things and we get tired of it, or we don't want to do it no more, and we stop. But right here, God is saying, okay, all that I've already created, it was good, but it's something missing. There's something else that needs to be done and something else that needs to be taking place. And God said, okay, I got to give him a helpmate. And a helpmate is someone to stand opposite of him, but also stand beside him. Someone that's going to be there when he needs him, or even if he don't need him at that moment, he's going to be there. That's a helpmate. And see, I had to learn a long time ago that it's okay to have some help. It's okay to take on some help. And see, me, I was one that I never wanted any help. I don't need nobody to help me. I can do this myself. But God said, no, he didn't intend for Adam not to have someone there by him to help him through. And the good times or the bad times, the ups and the downs, the right and the wrong. He had to have somebody put in place to be there to encourage him. There's nothing but to encourage him. To say, okay, no matter what's going on, you can make it. And see, that's what a helpmate is. A helpmate is someone to encourage you, to continue to keep you, to let you know that you can go. I thank God for my wife, but my wife been encouraging me all the last 3 weeks. She been encouraging me, letting me know, okay, it's going to be all right. You can make it. You just hold tight. You just keep the faith. You can make it. And that's what kept my head up. That's what let me know that I'm going to be all right. Because I had a helpmate today. You just sit there and say, you just don't go down. You ain't going to do that. No, but she encouraged me. She let me know that no matter what's going on right now, we're going to be all right. Because I'm here with you. And that's what God said. No matter what's going on, I'm going to be there with you. I'm going to give you somebody to do that.
All right, then. Come on, we got a halfway. We got a beautiful halfway. So, and you know, and God knows what we all need. Even if it's not even concerning just a helpmate, but he knows everything that you need. Is that all right? Yeah. He already knows you need it before you know you need it.
Come on.
But how many know God will fulfill everything? And he will perfect those things concerning what? You, concerning me. So to even when I look at myself, you know, don't worry about I'm lonely or I need a man, or if you a man, you need a woman. And don't worry about those things. God knows what you need. And some of you don't need nothing right now. Is that all right? You just need to work on you. That's what I said. Well, Lord, maybe you just need to work on me and get me ready. Because I know by living, when you start living by yourself, you know, you get kind of in your little ways. You know, I'm like, well, if a husband does come, Lord, you know, I want to start cooking. I don't like to cook no more. God's going to get me ready for my husband. He's going to be starving. Is that all right? But, honey, there's some lunch meat in the refrigerator. If you make you a sandwich. Make you a good old fried bologna and egg sandwich. But how many know that's what God may be waiting for someone just to work on you, work on yourself. But how many know when you feel that empty void, and how many, I'm talking to the singles now, when you single and you feel that empty, how many know God will fill that empty void that you're feeling? You don't have to go out and go find you something just for all night because now my flesh friend got the best of it. No, when you keep your mind on God and get in His Word, the best thing is don't continue to think on that. When those thoughts come, don't play with it. Don't think, because when you start playing with it, the more you think about it, what's going to happen? Yes, already in your heart now, you're going to go do it. But when you just begin to get your mind on God, He'll feel that when you're feeling lonely at night. He'll sit there and watch a movie with you. I know I've been there. Or go to the movie by yourself like Pastor taught me to do. See that time? You ain't got to have nobody take you to the movies. Take yourself to the movies. Love being with you. Love yourself. And boy, I loved it. I went to the movies because now I've been out to eat by myself, but I said, Lord, I can't imagine going to the movies without a bowl by my side. I can't imagine doing that. But I did it, and it's the funniest thing, because when I went in the theater, it's like the whole theater was empty. I said, Lord, this is my first time going to the movies by myself now. I ain't that brave when them lights go out to be sitting in this theater by myself. I said, you got to see some people in here with me now. And I think about 4 other people came. And I just sit there and watch the movie. And I absolutely loved it. You know, I loved it. So now, learning to do those things, don't wait on somebody to come in your life. But you learn to go, I don't know why we're getting off on this, but you learn to do things on your own. So So when you love yourself and you love being with you, so you're going to love doing those things with yourself. Is that all right? And not sit at home having a pity party. I ain't got nobody. Nobody loves me. God loves you. And he's right there with you. He's right there walking by your side. Is that all right? He's right there holding you when you feel lonely. Because I know I've been there. So I just thank God for that. But so to wait on that man, Adam wait, God, verse 18, and the Lord, I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead. I just put it on.
She went through that stage already.
Go ahead, Gabby. Talk to us. Help somebody. Yeah, you do. Go ahead. And your mama sees something, you got to say, you got something to say. Go ahead. Let the Lord use you. Help the Lord.
Well, basically what you said, especially being a young person and moving off by myself to Georgia, and I have my best friend, but you got to realize for yourself that you don't need somebody. You got to learn for yourself. Everybody's not always going to be there. Especially like when you have your mother or your father, they're not always going to be there to depend on. So you got to learn how to do things for yourself. So just like, I remember when I was going through the time after I just got from college, and I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do? I'm by myself, what do I got to do? Life doesn't stop. That's right. Just like anything that you want to do in life, nobody's going to help you get there. You have to help yourself get there. That's right. So just like having a hunger and thirst for God, you can't expect somebody else to constantly push you to get there. You have to want them for yourself in order to get there. So that's just how life works. We are born through somebody on this earth, but at the end of the day, as we grow up and become our own person, you have to have the willpower, the mindset to be able to push yourself and be who you are and where you want to go. And basically saying too, once you truly learn how to love yourself, it doesn't matter what people or, it doesn't matter about what constantly, because people are going to talk about you your whole life. But if you truly love yourself and know who you are, nothing else matters. And you're going to push yourself
too, when you love you, you won't accept anything and everything. You put a limit on it. Come on. And the thing about your choices of who you're going to be with, because when you get to a certain age, I tell my daughter, she's like, I don't even know how old she's 20. Somebody's getting older. Oh, Tanya. It's the thing is that, as the young people, as you get older, you start thinking a little bit more, insecurity area where you don't play all these games when you get in your 50s and 40s and around 30. 20s, you still, you're looking, you're developing, you're trying to find yourself. But like she says, when you come to a place in your life, even at the age of 20, 18, 17, 15 years of age, is that sometimes the environment sometimes will, you adapt to and you sometimes learn from. But even in that, is that when you know that I don't want to be like my environment, or I want something different. But you come to know yourself and say, you know what, I want something better. I don't care what mama does, I don't know what daddy does, I don't care what brothers or sisters or friends or cousins or whatever. But when you see in yourself that, look, I love me, I want something better, I want something different, is that your change and your vineyard start changing toward who you want to be a part of your life to be more like you. How do you understand that? Come on. Now, it's a different story when you already hooked up or whatever. You already got married. And you married outside of, being a Christian or whatever. But it's a thing of love itself. I want somebody to love me and respect me the way I respect me and love me. Come on, is that all right? Come on,
I constantly, try to learn things. There was a speaker who said he gave an example. He had a bottle cap, and then he also had a glass. And the glass of water was filled, like half full. And basically, it's like he put the water bottle and filled the glass up to the top. He said, you as a person, you're trying to fill yourself up. But once you're full, and then you try to pour into that bottle cap, you can't pour into something that can't hold it. That's it. So you're gonna lose yourself and pour yourself into something that can't hold what you got. And that is not as Mom says, people settle all the time. It's no purpose in settling, because you need to find somebody that has the same width as you. So when you pour into them, they can pour back into you.
But that's what Eve found. Eve was looking for something that she already had. You know, and feeling like, okay, I got to be more. She was already filled, but didn't realize it. But when the enemy brought up more, you could be more like, well, I mean, I'm lacking something. When you're not lacking nothing at all you have to do is maintain what you have. And in maintaining, I'm going to increase even more in my love for myself and for God, even more in my education, that I want to be something more than somebody that don't want chasing a ghost. Like I said, chasing ghosts. But it's the thing is that God is teaching us, even in Genesis, is that when you love me more, like you said, you're not going to, the Bible said, I have given you everything you need on the inside of you to become and to be and to have and also to lack nothing. Come on, give God praise. You got it all. But sometimes we just don't realize it. And we just, when we start looking other places, because somebody got a yacht, that don't mean, and I don't have one, that don't mean they're enjoying more than what I'm not. Come on, is that all right? Amen. I might not want this yacht because you got one, that don't mean I need to get one. Come on, but what it takes to maintain it, I probably don't have the money to do so. So I'm going to love where I am and enjoy and be happy for you. Come on. Is that all right?
So you keep. Okay, so anybody else? I like that. Everything that I hope y'all took that plan. Yeah, I like that thing. That's awesome. It's so good to have you here, Kathy. We can learn from Kathy. That's what we gotta learn to do. When God comes to speak, you don't know who He's gonna speak to. Is that all right? We just like our sister said, we gotta have them ears to what? To hear God. So the God's trying to help somebody this morning. Don't settle, because let me tell you, I know that's why I'm waiting for my King who's going to treat me like the prince that I am. I'm waiting. That's right. Boaz belongs to Ruth. And I'm going to give him my own. He's going to know everything. He's going to know I love cappuccino. He's going to be attentive to all my little things that I like. And I ain't going to say everything, because if he's watching, I want something that I want him to know. Like Pastor said, God's going to show him some of them things, that the secrets of my heart. That's how I'm going to know he's mine. That's the one. He belongs to me. Is that all right? So we're going to get rid of him. I hope y'all got something out of the lesson this morning. So we're going to go ahead and have our junior class to come on out and give a review.